Cheating wife got ashamed and moved out after I caught her talking to her AP. My wife and I got married in October. I'm 28, she's 23. A few weeks ago, my wife came home with news about her doctor's appointment. She thought she had a yeast infection. Yeast infections have always been common with her, even before we met 5 years ago. Instead of a yeast infection, she told me she had an STI, chlamydia. I didn't say much about it. I'm pre-med. I took my MCAT. I know about STIs simply from my classes, and I've had a couple in the past. I made it my goal to not get angry and try to talk calmly to her. She told me she got it from her sister, who was diagnosed with it, and it spread because they were trying on the same clothes. I didn't believe this, so I texted her mother in the morning asking if she knew anything about either of her daughters having an STI. I text her mother because the sister is 17 with severe anxiety. I assumed that if the sister went to a doctor, the mom took her. Her mother had no idea what I was talking about. I text that same sister, asking her if she knew anything. She told me no. I called my wife out on her lie and told her she needed to explain, and she told me she really didn't know how she got it, but she felt like she had to tell me something because she knew I would question it. I went and got tested and sure enough, I had it. I want to note that chlamydia is a difficult subject because at this current moment of time, I wasn't sure if she cheated, because this specific STI won't always show symptoms. One of us could have had it and never knew. I also want to make two more things clear before I continue. 1. My wife and I had a rocky start the first 2 years of our relationship, which started in 2016. The rocky start was my fault. I had commitment issues, and we were on off. During that time, we both saw different people at different times. 2. The last person I slept before I got back with my wife had the same STI. It was supposed to be treated. Maybe it wasn't cleared. I bring up those 2 points because in my head, I wanted to believe that maybe I was the cause, and we just never knew. Fast forward 2 weeks, and we are mostly okay. It doesn't really get brought up, and I just assumed I was the cause. One Sunday, we were watching a movie and her phone started to ring. I look at the caller ID, and it is the past romantic partner from the title of this post, PRP for short. PRP equals past romantic partner. PRP was prevalent in our relationship when I fully committed to my wife. She broke things off with PRP because I confessed I wanted to be with her, no BS this time. For the better half of a year, PRP purposely tried to break us up. She knew, I knew it, and he knew it. At one point, I even asked why she kept PRP around because she knew what he was trying to do, and her response was, just in case you leave me. At the time, it hurt, but I could kind of get it. I was a non-committal a-hole. I wasn't going to be controlling and tell her she wasn't allowed to be his friend or give her an ultimatum. I wanted her to know I trusted her, and I've never been the one to want to go through someone's phone and see who they are always talking to. Well, at some point, I thought she finally understood what he was doing, because she told me she blocked him on Snapchat and Instagram, and he never had a Facebook. Trust me, I tried looking. We got engaged a year later, and I haven't heard about him since we moved in together 2 years ago. 5 days have gone by since his phone call. She never answered that night, so I never found out why he called. On the 5th day since it happened, I told my wife that it would make me feel better if she would let me go through her phone. I had too much of a bad feeling about this, and I thought the timing was too convenient because of the STI. Her response to me wanting to go through her phone? She was fine with it. She opened all the apps, and the ones I wanted to open. She opened her text message conversation with him and showed me that he was checking up on the situation, because she had texted him about the STI since they had slept together before our relationship. This is when things take a horrible turn. I started scrolling up the conversation. I get to August 18th of this year, 2 months before our wedding and a month before my MCAT. I see them flirting with each other. I only saw 3 texts before she started fighting me for her phone, but they said, "Good morning, lover, good morning, beautiful. I'll be thinking about you all day." For the next hour, my wife and I wrestled for her phone. I kept it out of arm's reach, because I wanted to see what they were saying to each other. She fought me because she didn't want me to see. She was yelling at me, telling me to give her back the phone. I want to make sure everyone is aware that neither her nor I tried to hurt each other. I was trying to get to spots where I could read it, and she was lunging and pushing on me to reach her phone. We both had bruises, but it wasn't violent. I finally gave up and gave her back the phone and just went to work while she cried and packed some things to go to her parents, even though I didn't kick her out. She came home the next day. We went out for breakfast, we talked about what we needed to do to work on things for our marriage. She did inform me that she sought him out because she felt like she couldn't come to me while I was studying and felt like a burden. She also never tried. The day she moved back in was a Sunday. For the next week, I didn't see my wife much. Not because I didn't want to, but because of work. I was working 12-hour days, and once I was off work, she was asleep since she had to be up early in the morning for her job. By Saturday, I text her at work, telling her I miss her, and that I didn't want to work, and I just wanted to spend time with her. When we were both home that night, we went and laid down and did just that. When she woke up in the morning, I took her to get coffee and donuts, then we watched Bill Burr for a bit, then cleaned our home, then went out for lunch. Now, we are getting to current events. When we were out at lunch, our neighbor asked if she wanted to hang out. This wouldn't mean anything, because they are wonderful friends, and they have the same profession, so a lot of venting and complaining about their jobs. They can relate to each other, and it had been a few months since they last hung out. It wasn't uncommon if they hung out at each other's homes for 5+ hours at a time. They met up around 1:30 p.m. Around 4 p.m., I knocked on our neighbor's door to come see my wife. I asked what they were up to, gave her a hug, and told her I was tired, and I was going to take a nap. All of this happened at the doorway, literally one step through the door. I just wanted to see my wife since, like I said earlier, I missed her most of the week. My wife gets us Chipotle around 6 p.m., and we eat dinner together. I could tell something was up, but she wouldn't tell me when I asked. She went back to our neighbor's home, and at 8:30, she came into our home with our neighbor, and said that she is going to her mom's. I asked her what was going on, and what was wrong, but that's all she would tell me. She packed a pair of clothes, left and didn't say a word to me for the rest of the evening. I called her 4x, and she didn't answer. She didn't text me or get a hold of me in any way. The next morning, she texts me saying she is fine, and me coming over and questioning what she was doing did not help her with her thoughts from the past few weeks, and even our neighbor asked why it seemed like I was looking for something. Apparently, they both felt like it was odd for me to check up on my wife, and they thought I was looking for someone who wasn't supposed to be there. She felt like I didn't trust her. I think I would have a good reason not to trust her if I didn't. That same day, she didn't talk to me. She told me she is coming by to pack some things and stay at her mom's a bit. She basically just grabbed some clothes and essentials. That was Monday of this week. When she left on Monday, she left her cat at our home and told us she would be coming back. I told her I would give her the space she wants, and I wouldn't text her or bother her, and if she needs me, I'm here for her. She got a hold of me for the first time on Thursday, and it was about an errand she couldn't complete, so she asked me to. We talked on the phone for almost an hour on Thursday, and we talked about our current situation. She told me she doesn't want to get divorced, but wonders if we would be better off as friends. She is upset because in her mind, marriages are supposed to be blissful the first few months and ours has been a wreck, to call it something. I did try to tell her that marriages are hard, and they take effort. Sometimes marriages start off rough. I feel like her comment about marriages being blissful gave me some insight into her mind, and that being, that she wanted the idea of marriage more than actually being ready for the commitment and work that a marriage requires. I have been doing my best to be patient and try to give her the space she wants. I've been hoping that we can work things out, but I feel like she is running away from the problems she caused and left me the first sign of our marriage getting rough. She was never like this in the past, and has never been a red flag that I thought we should be aware of. She's always tried her best to communicate with me through our problems, tried, being the important word here since she doesn't communicate well. Today, I texted her saying I wish you were home. 3 minutes before my work shift started. No response. Tonight, I came home after working 10 hours to see that she came by and moved her cat to her mom's. I want to give up, but I also want to hope she turns this around.